up and have to mute myself in the whole nine. We know that, but I am just so excited to be able to share today with you. We are going to journal, we are going to meditate. To mute myself in the whole nine. We know that, but there we go. We're going to journal. We're going to meditate. We are going to lean into some tapping today. We're going to talk about why tapping works. We're going to talk about nervous system regulation. We're going to do some practical and some relax ease modalities that will just nicely kind of wrap this all up in a beautiful little package, right? We're going to put a bow on top of all of the fabulous things that we have been doing in the Positivity Challenge. And if you're like, you know what? I haven't been doing as much as I should. I haven't been keeping up with the the daily challenges. That's okay. Because guess what? They permanently live in the Oasis. So I think you all have your accounts there, but if you don't, members.organizetoelevate.com. That is the place you want to be. There'll be a QR code to join there. But these challenges will live in the little module of the 2025 Positivity Challenge folder, and you'll be able to access them forever. And the challenge parties are on the YouTube channel, and you will be able to access them forever. I have no desire to take any of these things away. They are what they are, and they will serve us for years to come. So you can always go back and repeat all of this and in whatever way makes the most sense to you. And that's kind of it's an anchor. It's an anchor that is there for you to hold on to whenever you need it. So let's talk about what we've been doing. So we're going to review week 4. We do have 2 days of the challenge left. Today is day 29. Tomorrow's day 30. The challenge post should be available. And they're 2 little fun ones to kind of just wrap up everything we've been doing. We're going to do some journaling, so have paper, pen, or your journal handy. We're going to talk about positivity readiness, right? Sometimes you feel like I'm doing all of this work and it's still like I'm bumping up against things and it's super frustrating and I'm finding myself being negative and why I'm doing the journaling, I'm doing the tapping, like whoa. And it's because our nervous system is out of whack. And we're going to talk about how to reset that today, how to get out of fight, flight, or freeze. We're going to do some tapping to sort of cement in that nervous system regulation. And then we'll do our affirmations and we will have time for Q&A. So, and we are going to meditate today too. So fun things to just tap into all the good and relax our nervous system, right? We are not in danger. We are safe. We are well. We are having the ability to choose peace at any time. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to temper down that that's in our body and in our mind, and just let our nervous systems fully relax. Like yesterday, we went to the farmer's market and I was just at the farmer's market. I wasn't thinking about the 400 things I had to do. I wasn't thinking about the budget of what I had to spend. I wasn't thinking about the next place that I needed to be. I was just at the farmer's market. That's it. And it was like, oh, you don't have what I need, but your booth at the other farmer's market that's 4 or 5 miles away does. Great. Let's drive 4 or 5 miles away. Like there was nothing. There was no oh, I can't believe I have to do. It's okay. I'm just enjoying this experience. So we're going to work on fostering that feeling in ourselves today. So hi, in case you are on YouTube and finding this for the very first time, welcome. I'm Camille Prunka with Organize to Elevate. I'm a professional organizer. I'm also a high performance coach. I help people organize their space, their time, and their mindset for a very rewarding life that is full of your heart's desires, like what you truly, truly want. And today we are talking about being more positive, being more joyful, and giving ourselves the opportunity to recognize, yes, we have a lot going on, but we also have the ability to choose that we get to do it with ease and grace and lightness as opposed to heavy, frantic feelings, right? We do not need to embrace that. So, Stephen Porges is an American psychologist, and he says trauma compromises our ability to engage with others by replacing patterns of connection with patterns of protection. And the reason that I chose this quote this morning is because trauma comes in many forms. Trauma comes in the big hits, right? The big awful things that we talk about, natural disasters, war, right? Like these things that are just they're just life-changing experiences. But trauma also comes in little tiny hits, right? A phone call where a friend's upset and she yells and screams at you, or a business venture that you sink your heart and soul into and you see no return, right? They're little tiny like um, pricks at us that just keep adding up. Like when you, right, when you take a hammer and you keep hitting the same piece of ice in the same part, like it might be tiny little taps, but eventually you're going to get a big crack. And that's the kind of trauma we're going to talk about today. It's the kind of thing where those little tiny hits add up and they do compromise our ability to really foster the life that we are desiring to go after. And we start putting up these walls of protection that are preventing us from engaging in life in the way that we want to achieve what we want to. So it's recognizing, yes, these patterns of protection have served us for a time, but there is a season to let them go. There is a season where we don't need them anymore. We can thank them for their service and send them on their way. And that can be patterns of keeping things in our home because we're afraid we might not be able to get them again, right? Recognizing this is this pen's less than $20. If I lose it, it's okay. I'm gonna find another pen, right? Like maybe it's the kind of thing where we're so overscheduled in our time because we want to please everyone, and that has been a pattern of protection. And we need to now say, no, I can do less, and that's okay. So we're gonna feel into those little bits of trauma today. And remember, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed mental health professional. I'm not a doctor. I do not diagnose anything. I do not treat anything. But I can tell you that cultivating awareness of what is going on in our lives is the first step to being able to change anything that we do not currently want to have around anymore. And making that transition with awareness is when we can pull in the professionals to support us. And that's the step that we are at today is cultivating that awareness, making sure we know what's going on. So this way, then we can pull in the resources that are going to allow us to make the bigger changes in life. So at members.organizetoelevate.com, we have had these trackers and hopefully you have been enjoying using them. And here's the thing. These trackers are going to stay there. You can continue using them after today to track whatever it is you want. So the beautiful little branches, you can start to use that to track self-care. You can use that to track any single goal you are going after. If the coloring branches was fun for you, continue it. Go for it. If the positivity journal every single day or maybe weekly was really good for you, lean into using that format. Keep it going, right? It doesn't have to end just because the challenge ends. And the Harmonious Life Tracker. If you really like seeing where your emotions are and seeing the pattern for the month, print out one, cross out June and write July, right? Keep it going. And if you enjoyed tracking your self-care and seeing how you're supporting yourself, then remember anything we turn our attention to, we are able to exponentially reap more benefit from. So using these trackers is about tapping into that exponential power. So if you haven't used them and you want to use them, they're going to be there. You can print them out. You can make them yours for whatever it is that you want to see visually the achievement of your goals, right? See it unfolding over time. That's what these trackers are all about. So, what did we do over the past week? So, naturally, it's not a challenge unless we declutter something. So, day 22 was about cleaning up a space and decluttering it. So, this way you have more freedom of mental clarity, more freedom of emotional clarity, more just physical space to be able to do things in, right? We need space for our hobbies. We need space to store our sports equipment if we're skiers or if we're into tennis or any kind of sport that involves stuff. Or if we like to paint, draw, sew, whatever it is we like to do, you need to store your supplies. So sometimes cleaning and decluttering gives us space to lean into the things that we haven't been doing because we haven't had the space for them. Then we talked about new experiences. New experiences revive us, right? They enliven us. They allow us to go out and make new connections, have more social engagement. Social engagement is necessary for us to keep our internal flame alive. So garnering little tiny bits from new experiences, just the pleasure of a new experience is really impactful in our ability to stay positive. We talked about adopting a habit for the next 30 days, right? Like, what is one thing you want to keep going? Maybe it's coloring in your tracker. Maybe it's having an affirmation, a daily affirmation. Maybe it's tracking your vibe every single day. But what is one thing that's going to keep you spiraling upward? And then creating a positivity emergency kit, right? Like, so I've seen this done for children and they've called it like a calm corner where they've had coloring or little games, manipulatives, fidget toys, whatever, where if a child is completely overstimulated or like rocketing off into anger, they can go to this corner and they can sit down and they can just be calm in themselves and use manipulatives and things to help them achieve a calm. Well, we should have that too. Like have a playlist you can pop on immediately and it'll shift your energy, or have like a go-to snack in the pantry that is like, I'm gonna sit down and make myself tea and biscuits and I'm gonna drink it out of my favorite China cup and it's gonna be my positivity moment, right? Where the world just melts away and I have my tea and biscuits. Whatever it is, but having that availability of tapping into your emergency kit, either physical or emotional. Maybe it's a favorite meditation or a yoga class or something where you can just go and submerge yourself in positivity. We talked also about planning a restorative weekend. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to incorporate a lot of travel, but it could just be I'm going to the movies, or I'm not cooking this weekend, or whatever it is that's going to make you feel like your positivity comes back, right? We're going to play board games. It's board games all weekend. We're going to pretend that we have no electricity. Like fun things like that. Why not? Then we talked about making a done list. So we spend our days always looking forward at the things we have to do. And we never appreciate, like, maybe we appreciate it for a second, like, oh, check that off, that's done. But we never sit in how much we've actually accomplished in a week. So my son brought home this folder from school where one side of the pocket folder was labeled still working and the other side of the pocket folder was labeled finished. And I looked at that and I thought, this is what we are going to use this summer because we're continuing like keeping him fresh on his skills and he wants to advance the grade in math. Like, so we're working on those things, but I want him to see, like, I don't take out of the folder every day what he's finished. I keep it in there because I want him to see how much he accomplishes in a week and how much he's learned and give himself a lot of credit for that. And I feel like as adults, we do not have a metaphorical or real still working, done, where we can say, look at all I've done this week. We only look at what isn't finished and what we need to continue to work on. So Like maybe your done list is just that pocket folder of here's what I am working on, but here's everything that's done. And appreciating that, sitting with that and realizing like, look at the not only what I have done, but all the effects that it has had, right? Like if I put what I've done in my business alone and all the ripples that come from it, there will be pages and pages and pages of stuff on that done side. It's good to turn your attention and appreciate that. We don't do it often enough. And then just resting and reviewing. There is something to be said for going back and doing an exercise again, right? Doing a journal prompt again, doing an affirmation again, having a new experience again, right? It's not about just doing it once and checking it off and being like, that's it. Success. I have completed my daily challenge. That's wonderful, but it's also about like, okay, how do I maximize this? How do I optimize this, right? And I keep in flow of keeping these things in your awareness and then resting, right? Taking a day off is not a bad thing. Saying, that's it, I'm done. Like I'm turning on the TV or I'm going for a pedicure and I'm reading a magazine and I'm done, right? I'm not piling on anymore. Sometimes we have to take it all off of us and say, it is time for me to breathe freely and not have anything to do. And that is a good thing too. So let's journal a little bit and then we'll do our meditation. So think about these and you can answer all of them or you can lean into one. But what has shifted within you during this challenge, right? Maybe it's been a micro shift. Maybe it's been a macro shift. But whatever it is, think about what has come about for you. And maybe it isn't even related to the challenge, but just in the past month, something that has shifted for you. What is it? Which practices have felt most nourishing to you over the past month or most powerful, right? What has been very, very encouraging for you? And what positive habit or mindset do you want to carry forward with intention? What are you going to really be focused on? When I picture my most aligned self, how do I show up? Right? Do you show up with ease and with grace and with accepting your humanity of sometimes I'm good at things and sometimes I'm not? Or are you showing up tired, haggard, angry, upset, frustrated, right? How are you showing up? It's and when it's when you're are you, where's the disconnect between the most aligned self that shows up and you where you are now, right? These are really powerful things to think about because then when you are aware of the disconnect, then you can do things to bridge the gap. What does joy look and feel like in this next season of my life? So we are literally at like the halfway point of the entire year. That's purposefully why I did this. Because if you were like, man, 2025 has stunk to this point, right? Like it has not been good. I have not received good news. Things have not been fantastic. I've not gotten the return on the investment of the things that I really thought I would have by now. Well, the good news is you have 6 months to turn the year around, right? It's not over. It's not done. We can close the chapter on the first half of the year and we can open the next chapter and be like, it's a fresh start. So what does this next season look like for you? And what do you really want to grow into in the next 6 months? So I'm going to set us a 12-minute timer to be able to get some time into these, and then we will come back and share if we feel called to, or the chat is always open for you to be able to share. So I will see all of you in about 12 minutes. All right, everyone, welcome back from our journaling. So, if you need an extra minute to finish a thought, that is absolutely fine. You can give yourself that space. I found that I was journaling mostly in bullet points today. I was making lists. Sometimes lists help me feel very um, like I am able to capture all of it as opposed to writing continuous paragraphs and sentences. So, however it is that you decide you want to journal, it's fine, right? The big thing is that you're getting it out of yourself, you're getting it onto the page, that you are seeing it come about. So, if anyone at this point would like to share anything that has come through for you, you can do it either by unmuting and speaking, or you can do it by using the chat. The chat is open through Zoom. Um, I can tell you that for me, this was a lot of work into recognizing I've had this very um powerful shift this week where I have realized that I haven't been able to work out for 2 years. I was on medical restriction from working out because I was having this thing where my heart rate would just jumped up to 150 for no reason. I would just be sitting here and boop, it was jump up. It's not doing that anymore. But now I keep having all these surgeries. So, it's like you can work out, but then you get to a level where are just you're told to just walk for a couple of weeks. So it's like the start and stop and start and stop. And I really love dance. I love ballroom dance. It allows me to, I loved ballet way back when, but now I love ballroom dance and it allows me to express every emotion. I can express happiness in my dance. I can express frustration or anger in my dance. Like I can get it all out through movement. And it's funny because in my circles and in the research that I do for Savvy Squad, somatic therapies has been coming up over and over and over again. I've been hearing it over and over again. And so I did a deep dive into somatic therapies, which we will see emerge in Savvy Squad in the coming weeks. And movement was huge in somatic therapies. It's not just breath work, it's not just EFT, it's movement. And I was like, oh, movement was keeping my positivity up. It was keeping me at this high vibe, and now it's gone. And it has had this very palpable effects, right? That I can feel in my mental status and my emotional vibe in my physical body. And I want to get back to that. And what does that look like? And so I've been like asking my husband, hey, do you want to go back to ballroom dance? Do you have any desire to do this? I want to do this. I want it, right? And I'd love for it to be a thing we do together, but even if he doesn't do it, I think I'm going back and going back soon, right? As soon as I'm able to and I'm medically cleared. It is time for me to start having fun in movement again. And so a lot of my positivity and my desire for increased positivity has come back to that practice of movement. So I was leaning into that in a lot of my journaling and my most aligned self. Like, how do I show up? So I feel like these were some of the words that came up for me. My most aligned self is calm, aware, observant, thoughtful, relaxed, connected, light, focused, growing, evolving, and doing the work, right? That is a person who's got a direction and is going for it, right? And it doesn't always have to be, I'm going for it, I'm hustling. It can be, I'm doing this thing and I'm going to make it easy, right? It can be like a rubber band, right? Sometimes we stretch it taut, sometimes we let it be relaxed. it doesn't always have to be stretch taut because when it's stretch taut and it stays that way over time, it will eventually snap and break. And when we do these kinds of challenges, we are trying to let the rubber band ease up, right? And see if we can maintain the wonderful things in our lives without having the constant stress and tension, right? The literal and figurative stress and tension. So, um, if anyone has anything they want to share, you can put it in the chat. You can unmute and I will call on you. But remember that this is the big part of this is that you get some things down on the paper, even if you will say them to no one else. The paper is not judgmental. And that is why I love to come back to my journal. There's no judgment in the paper, right? And if I read it again, I can be like, yeah, I was in a place when I wrote that. I'm really happy I'm not in that place anymore, right? You can even rip out pieces of paper. You can crumple them up. You can throw them away. You can responsibly burn them, right? You can do whatever. They don't have to stay in existence for perpetuity. It's not carved in stone. So, like if it's something that just lives there, that's fine too. Go ahead, Suzanne.
Yeah. So I have always wanted in my head to have a journaling practice because it always sounded good on theory, and I had this lovely mindfulness journal that I have, and I just never got around to it. And so being here, like doing the mindful mornings and then doing these where there is time that you have to focus and do it, um, has helped me to make it more, not as much of a practice as I want, but much better. Like even outside of these, I have made time to sit under my pergola, and which is my Zen place, and take my journal out there and just start writing. Because before I really wanted to do the bullet journaling that I had seen online. It was so pretty. People did all these pictures, and it always stopped me because I could never sketch that nice, or I didn't have the right color pens, or all the things that do not matter is my point. But so when I just allow myself to just get it down, like what you just said, it's either in bullet points, or sometimes I have a big long story I'm writing out, or sometimes I'm just throwing thoughts down on the page. But it's just nice to get it out of your head and on paper. So today was just a realization of the fact that I'm further along on my journey about journaling in general, which is bringing me peace. So it's not specific to these journaling prompts, but just in general, my process is improving. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to hear that. Like, yeah, that's the thing is, we see these ideals communicated via social media. Social media is a wonderful thing and it can be very aspirational, but can also be very crippling because, right, you look at all these bullet journals and you're like, well, I can't do that. Like, I gave up on bullet journaling a long time ago. It looks beautiful, but I also don't have all this time in my life to color, right? Like, I need to get my business done. So, I get my stuff out on the page. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but I incorporate some fun things. Like I do have some fun pens and I do have some fun books and things. And I can't wait. I'm going to be as soon as I finish this book, I'm going to be popping open my new Organized to Elevate Manifestation Journal, which is going to be available for everyone real soon. Like it's exciting to be able to do all of that. So I look at the fact that I'm doing whatever it is that I'm doing. It doesn't have to be as fantastic as social media. And it's the same thing with organization, right? Like, so my house doesn't look like every closet is Pinterest worthy and I have all these beautiful containers. Like, my towels are just towels on a shelf, and that's okay, right? Like, I can choose the places where I want an elevation, like my towels are really nicely rolled. But I can also choose to just have a shampoo bottle that's in a cabinet, right? It doesn't have to be like it looks all the time in these fancy places in social media. And the same thing with my time, right? I don't have to have this perfectly aligned schedule every day of all the things I should be doing. Like I am allowed to just have flex time. I'm allowed to have free time. I'm allowed to have time where I submerge myself into my work like an artist, right? Like I'm watching And Just Like That on Max. And, if you're a former Sex and the City fan, it definitely has some undertones of that. It's also completely different. But watching that, I was watching it last night, and the writer, like, he practically burned the house down because he's focused on this book and he only is focused on this book. And it's 6 months of his life, and all he does is work all night long. And then he gets to go back to London and be fun. And I'm like, who wants to purposefully set up their life where 6 months of it is not fun? And they're so engrossed in their work that they barely eat. They never go out to eat. That's what he said. They so engrossed that they're barely eating. They're practically burning their house down while they're making a stew. Like what? Where's the quality of life in that, right? And it's the whole sometimes we do this where we don't allow ourselves to do things because we can't do them perfectly, or we feel that to get something done well we have to have this huge element of sacrifice to be able to do it. And I'm looking at both of these things and going, nah, neither one of these are for me, right? Like, I do not have to sacrifice everything to be a great entrepreneur. I do not have to sacrifice everything to be a present mom, right? I get to be both. And I also don't have to have this perfect journal where my camera's turned down and you can see all the lovely colors for me to tell you that you can get great value out of journaling, right? I get to have the middle of the road that works for me. And we all get to find where that middle of the road is. And we get to appreciate the beauty of the one thing, and we get to honor the sacrifice of the other. But we don't have to be at the ends of that swinging pendulum. We get to be in the middle, and that's okay. So I'm glad that you made the choice of just getting it out on paper and combining it with your Zen place and giving yourself the grace to do it when you feel called to do it, and not beating yourself up that you don't have this fantastic practice that is so perfectly balanced in every way, right? It doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that for you to reap the benefits. So thank you for sharing that. All right, everyone, let's meditate. All right, I'm going to switch my screen around. So I'll stop our share for just a second and our presentation for just a second. Let's get into our meditation. And I will reshare my screen. So get cozy. This is a 10-minute meditation. And I didn't know I could feel this good, which just kind of really goes into what we're working on and talking about today. We sometimes don't recognize that we can feel this good. So get nice and relaxed, and I will see you all back here in 10 minutes.
Allow yourself to get into a nice and comfortable position, lovingly closing your eyes and turning your awareness inwards, focusing on your heart's energy center in the middle of your chest. Imagine the breath flowing in and out of this space in 360 degrees around the space, feeling it coming in from all sides. Tune into a power here in the presence of your breath in your heart, as if the breath is here to say, I bring you cleansing. I bring you healing. I bring you nurturing support and ease. bring you sustenance. I give you space. Spend a few more breaths here, just you and your breath. Affirming, I am not my thoughts, I am my breath, and seeing how that feels. Just being. Connected to the breath. In a new way. Now relax your shoulders away from the ears even more, letting gravity take over wherever it can at this time. Feeling your sit bones and noticing how you're held. And on your next exhale, let yourself sigh and listen to your own sigh. Really take it in. You are enough, dear one. You have always been. The time is here to remember again that you are safe and held. All is well. Let your human body know all is well, no matter how it appears. Say to yourself, thank you. I love you. I forgive you. But within all of that, you are held by you. You are safe. You nurture yourself as you need. You give yourself kindness and compassion, just as you do others. And you relax into a feeling and knowing and allowing. Allowing what is. And just being with it. are held within your own internal grace. You are safe within yourself. Relax and allow yourself to just breathe and be. Begin to allow your awareness to start to notice sounds. Perhaps the sound of your own breath. And again, start to notice physical sensations, like the feeling of clothes on your skin and the weight of gravity. What else can you notice with your 5 senses right now? Just explore whatever happens and whatever you notice. And when you're ready, take your time coming back to the world around you, stretching slowly however you feel called, really luxuriating in your transition from this practice back to the rest of your day. Have a great day today, dear one.
Welcome back from meditation, everyone. Take your time, right? You don't have to come springboard back into reality. It can be relaxed and gradual. And I'm going to switch us back to our presentation. Hopefully you just enjoyed that nice, quiet experience, right? That's a lot of times what we just need is a moment, right? A moment of peace, a moment of turning down the volume on everything, right? Even if it's just a little bit, right? Even if you could still hear noise, even if you were still having an awareness, if you weren't very deep in meditation, that's okay, right? You're still turning down the volume. It's still successful. So let's talk about cultivating some positivity readiness. And how do you do that? You do that with nervous system regulation. Okay. We talk a lot about the manifestation formula, right? And when we're doing positivity work, we are literally trying to manifest more positivity into our lives. It is a manifestation game. So manifestation is our thoughts plus our feelings equal actions, which lead to results. So if your nervous system is regulated and you are calm and at ease, and you are not in fight, flight, or freeze, you have a very solid foundation for manifestation. When you are in this panicked mode within your body, manifestation becomes nearly impossible. Even if you are doing all the right things. I'm journaling, I'm meditating, I'm, eating nutritious food, I'm sleeping at night, and it's not happening. Well, that's because your nervous system may be stuck. You may be in this heightened survival mode and you don't even realize it, right? So what happens is we get into this fear-based thought pattern or feeling pattern or this stress-based thought and feeling pattern, and we have effectively put the brakes on intuition and inspiration. We are 100% just in this like swirling vortex of survival, and there's nothing else that can come in. We've put ourselves in a box and there's no outside input because the body can't receive any. The brain can't receive any. Our prefrontal cortex is shut off, really. It's not functioning as it usually would. Yes, we can make decisions what we want to eat for dinner. We can, come through with our work product at work, but it's not at the same level as when our nervous system is relaxed. So when we are in this survival mode, our body prioritizes predictability and control. So even if the script that's running is not a good script, it is full of stress, it is full of negativity, we will keep running that script because it is familiar, because it is predictable, because our body knows how to deal with the outcome, even if it's not the outcome that we want. So we will default to old patterns, right? We will have decided that, we want to go embark on this new journey of wellness or this new journey of decluttering. And then it gets hard and something happens and our body will go, nah, right? Our brain will go, nope, can't deal with this, right? Got too much other stuff going on that I'm fighting and flighting from. Tossing this out the window. We're just going to live with the predictable whatever that we've been dealing with all along because we know how to manage this. We also lose access to our high awareness, right? Gut feelings, like I said, intuition. That doesn't come in anymore. We start to find everything to be very difficult, heavy, and like it's happening to us, that we are not a participant in it. And we feel like we don't have any say. That's because we're in a survival mode and we're not realizing our options and our ability to co-create in the moment. So when our nervous system is calm and we are in a state where we feel safe, secure, that things are manageable, that's when we create space for receiving and growing. That's where creativity blooms. That's where openness to hearing what other people are going through or what they need happens, right? Communication becomes easier, relationships become easier, and action can be taken. We can move forward towards a goal. When we feel safe and secure is when we can give up the things that we have been holding on to in our space forever and a day because we might need them someday. But when we feel safe enough that we know we can replace them if we need them again, we can let them go. When we feel safe enough and are open to the fact that memories are not intrinsically stored in our things, is when we can let the things go and keep the good memories with us. We can indulge in hobbies and passions and all kinds of creative pursuits when we are in a state of safety. But if you notice, sometimes when we tip the scale and we go into this deregulated nervous system, like we can't sit and do a craft. We can't sit still and color. We can't enjoy going to the symphony. If you are in a deregulated state, right? If your nervous system is out of control, you cannot sit and listen to the symphony. You can't, or go to the opera. You're gonna be like fidgeting in and of yourself, and your mind is gonna be going the whole entire time, and you're gonna be feeling that franticness within yourself. So the things that we love to do and enjoy doing kind of fall to the wayside because we are in this state of hyper arousal. So what do? Right? I love when we watch YouTube videos or we listen to coaches and they talk about this part and then there's like no other information after that, right? They don't tell you, like they give you all this awareness. You're like, great. Okay, that's what's happening. Now what? Now what do I do? All right, so here's some possibles of now here's what you can do. So let's talk about being in fight mode. So if you're in fight mode, you're going to notice some things. You're going to be quick to get angry. I have definitely been in fight mode. I have been stuck in fight mode. And it's very logical that I've been stuck in fight mode because everyone has been telling me that I have to fight, right? Every medical professional is like, you've got to fight. You're a warrior. You can do this. Like even the language around everything that they have been saying to me is fight, fight, fight. And I'm realizing now it's tipping into unhealthy fight. Now I need to let the fight go. I've won the war, or at least the battle for now. I need to put my body back into a state of relaxation. So, yes, there is a time to fight. There is a time to be in fight, but it is a time, it is a season. And then we need to say no more when it's time for no more. And we need to calm everything down. So if you find yourself having like you're gripping to control everything, or even just one major thing, right? This all could be pointed towards one thing. If you're gripping to control, or if you are defensive about what's going on with you, if you're like constantly putting up walls, these are all signs of fight mode. You can't relax. You always feel like you need to be doing something. I have realized, like my husband, he is in a different sort of pattern. He is not in fight pattern. He might just be in regulation at this point because he can sit down and relax. I can't. I always feel like I need to be doing something, right? So that was another sign that I'm still in fight mode. I'm over preparing, right? If you're over preparing for everything or you have this desire that you need to win. I'm going to do this and I'm going to be amazing at it. I'm going to win this. I'm going to smash it, right? That it can be a sign of just really being into your goal, and that's okay. But it can also be a sign of your nervous system is tripped, right? So you have to decide which one is it, and only you can decide that. So if you are experiencing tension in your jaw, in your shoulders, if you are clenching a lot with your fists, these can also be physical manifestations of fight mode. So how do you shift out of it? Literally shake it. Like shake your body. It's a somatic practice where you can shake all of that energy out. Like I was saying, I'm really missing my physical movement because dance and Latin and the sharp moves, that's how I got all my aggression out, right? All my pent up frustration went out in those moves. And then I could be relaxed and I could waltz and I could rumba and I could feel the difference in those movements in my body. And it brought me regulation. And I'm definitely feeling the effects of not having that in my life. So maybe you need to like tap all over your body, which is a somatic practice. Do the butterfly hug, where you're hugging yourself and you're tapping on your arms to feel like that fight feeling can be tempered down. It doesn't need to be there. You can also stack your world with visual cues. So we have we have wallpaper on our phone, on our desktop, on our tablet, right? We have pictures that we can hang up around our house. Open hands, like just sitting here with open hands. I felt a shift in my body. right? I'm ready to receive. Ocean waves, that whole idea of just rolling in the waves. Falling feathers, the way they drift, right? And they seem to meander. All cues that it's okay to let go. It's okay to relax. It's okay to be open, right? Child's pose in yoga, that whole feeling of just being down and desensitizing yourself, right? So those are all ways that you can push fight mode out of you and regulate your nervous system. So let's talk about flight mode, because you might be feeling some of flight, that restlessness. Like I said, you cannot go sit at the symphony without like, I need a mint, and the rustling, and then like talking to you, like you can't stop, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm so ADHD. Man, you might be in flight mode. You might not have ADHD. You might be stuck in your nervous system. Now, again, I'm not like a mental professional. You might have ADHD, and that's fine, but it might be heightened because it's backed up by flight mode, right? You might be overworked. You might be overscheduling yourself. You might be, I'm not stopping. I'm flitting around, right? I have literally had clients who were like, oh, I tried to, and I was here and I was there. And I was like, you're in flight mode, right? You're nervous. If you could calm down that nervous system, you could maybe sit for 5 extra more minutes and get some good work done. That whole feeling of I can't slow down. I don't have time, right? How many of us as moms? I can't tell you. I talk with other moms. Oh, I have no time. I'm so busy. Flight mode, right? Maybe you are in a season of busy, but it's a season. If you were in a lifetime of busy, you might be in flight mode. So the fact that you are always multitasking, right? You have 100 irons in the fire. You don't know how to say no. It might be that your nervous system is driving that as opposed to something else. It could be lots of other things. It could be conditioning. It could be people pleasing. I mean, it could be a whole host of things. But you have to ask yourself, could it be flight mode? Could I be doing this because something else is irritating me and stimulating my survival instincts? So, how can I shift? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sensory reset. It will bring you into the now right away. 5 things I can see, 4 things I can hear, 3 things I can feel, 2 things I can smell, 1 thing I can taste, right? And you can do this. Like I can see this, and this. I can hear this, and this. I feel in my body, whatever it is that I'm feeling. The taste, like you just grab your water bottle, like I can taste cool water, whatever it is, but you are putting yourself in the very present moment with none of that other stimulation around you, right? Excess stimulation can also trip your nervous system. So if you've got a lot of visual clutter in your space, that could be tripping your flight mode right there. Right. So if you declutter, and it's like this catch 22, well, I can't declutter because I'm in flight mode and I feel like I can't like make a decision. 5 minutes. Do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and make a decision about one thing in your space. And then you'll feel yourself like the flight mode will start to calm down. You'll be able to declutter better, which will further calm down the flight mode. You can reverse the cycle. You can use the cycle to your advantage as opposed to letting the cycle keep ramping up. Weighted grounding. So if you have ever had to have a moment where you need to be concentrated, putting a folded blanket over your chair, right? Over you in your chair to feel the weight of the blanket. It's cozy, it's comforting, it's keeping you here now. You are literally stopping the flighty and you are bringing yourself into your awareness in this moment. It signals being still, being safe, having comfort, right? All of those things that when we're in flight, we don't really feel because we're so floaty, we're so out of ourselves. This brings us back in. So maybe it's a jacket that you wear or a scarf that you wear or a blanket, but feeling that feeling on top of you in a gentle, caressing way, right? That's why some people sleep better with a weighted blanket. It's because it is nervous system regulation as opposed to this that's, you're out all over the place. That's why it feels good. It's because it's calming your nervous system down. For some people, it feels suffocating, probably because they're in fight mode, right? Like the last thing you want is something weighing on you when you're in fight mode. So you have to be aware of your feelings and which modality is going to work best for you. Let's talk about freeze mode. So freeze is when you're numb, right? You are emotionally shut down. You feel stuck or paralyzed or foggy. Freeze mode can be indicated by the fact that you're doing something and then you completely forget your train of thought, like mid conversation. And we've all said, like, oh, that's just me. No, you could be in freeze mode, right? That could be where your nervous system is right now, which is why you can't complete a thought or remember anything because your brain's not turned on to being in attention. It's frozen. Like you are literally there. There's nothing else new coming in. You're stuck. Think about putting yourself in a perpetual ice block. Nothing new is going to happen, right? It can also mean that that's why you're procrastinating. Maybe your procrastination is not the problem. The problem is you're in freeze mode and that's causing you to procrastinate. There's no input that's allowing you to move forward on a project. You're zoning out all the time, right? You're just not present. It could be an indication of nervous system dysregulation. So what can you do? You have to start to like wake yourself up. So it's one of those things where when you find yourself zoning out, tiny movements, wiggle your toes, roll your shoulders, stretch, do the karate chop tap under a table in a meeting when you're zoning out, and it will bring you back. It will start to allow your awareness to move out of freeze mode, right? You can also do warm sensory input. So the same blanket, instead of weighing it across you, wrap yourself in it. Allow yourself to feel the sensations. Hold a warm drink. Like you all see me in the morning, I caress my coffee mug because I'm waking myself up, but it's also a really good way to open myself out of freeze mode if I'm in it, right? Allowing myself to feel safe, connected. This challenge is very anti-freeze mode. This whole challenge is actually very good for nervous system regulation, no matter what mode you're in, but it's very much coming out of freeze mode and shifting into a positive outlook because it's giving you all that safety and the good feels, right? You can also breathe and hum. So humming activates the vagus nerve. It allows you to reboot your energy. So just taking a breath in and then totally resets you, right? You can feel the vibration in your head. It doesn't matter what note you strike. That's why Om works, because you're breathing in and then you're saying Om. You are changing the whole feeling. Like you are very much awake. Like I almost felt like a little energy burst while I was doing that. I'm much more aware in this moment than I was just a moment ago. And if you're feeling like you are in this mode of you're replaying the same thing every single day, you are just not receiving new information as clearly as you want to be. These little shifts make a big difference. They're practical. You don't have to go out and buy anything to accomplish them. You don't have to feel silly to be able to do them, right? Like no one will know if you're wiggling your toes in your shoes. It doesn't matter, right? You can also like just push your feet into the floor. But these little practices really take our system and make these subtle shifts that add up over time. So if you're really trying to lean into doing all this beautiful work and you just feel like, oh, I keep bumping up against these things, think about your nervous system. Are you in a mode of reaction and survival as opposed to proactive work and gentle movement, right? Like life should feel like air gliding. It shouldn't feel like woo, roller coaster, right? It should feel like, huh, I'm just I'm just on like this little pocket of air that moves me along gently and I have control over it. It's easy. That's what it should feel like. And when your nervous system feels like that, it's so much easier to think clearly. It's so much easier to be impactful. It's so much easier to achieve a goal, right? It all adds up. So I hope that you have found all of that really helpful. Oh my goodness, we are so behind. Let's tap real quickly. We're going to do a round of tapping to discover that nervous system reset. Tapping is good for fight, flight, or freeze. So let's do it together as a group to dispel some negativity and lean into more positivity. So we'll start on our hands. Even though I dip into negativity and stress, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though chronic pressure has been living in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. I feel so much stress sometimes. It feels heavy in my body. There's always something to manage, fix, or worry about. My nervous system feels like it's been on high alert. It's hard to relax when I'm carrying so much all of the time. I've been holding on to fear, maybe even without realizing it. Part of me believes I need this stress and negativity to stay safe or prepared. What if I could stay safe without it? I honor how hard I've been trying to hold it all together. Take a deep breath in, let it out, and we'll do a second round. Even though I felt overwhelmed and reactive, I honor how I feel and I'm open to releasing this tension now. Even though I've carried negativity or fear, I choose to feel safe in my body and trust in a brighter energy. I'm learning to create safety from within. I can choose a new positive experience, even in the middle of uncertainty. I breathe deeply and remind my body, I'm safe right now. I can feel calm and still be powerful. I'm allowed to soften, to rest, and to trust. I can choose to create peace in my body and clarity in my mind. I open to positivity, flow, and support. I radiate trust, ease, and grounded power. Take a deep breath in. Place your hands on your heart and repeat with me. I release negativity, fear, and stress from every cell of my body. I welcome positivity, safety, and peace. I am safe and well. I release negativity, fear, and stress from every cell of my body. I welcome positivity, safety, and peace. I am safe and well. I release negativity, fear, and stress from every single cell of my body. I welcome positivity, safety, and peace. I am safe and well. Take another big, deep breath in. Let it out. And just enjoy a moment of what that has done for you internally. There is a beautiful lightness that can happen after you tap, or after you meditate, or after you do any one of those somatic exercises that we talked about, like the butterfly hug. There's a beautiful lightness that we can have for a moment. And the more that we bring ourselves back to that lightness, the more impactful and empowering these exercises are. It's stacking the results, really. That's what it is. So let's go into some affirmations. I am no longer at war with myself. That one's huge, right? I felt like I was at war medically for so long. I am no longer at war with myself. I trust that it's safe to feel calm and clear. I am gently releasing the stress I've carried for too long. I am allowed to feel joy, ease, and freedom. I am open to possibility even when I don't have all of the answers. I honor my emotions without being ruled by them. My energy is sacred and I choose to protect it with care, right? All of those statements can have so many different meanings to all of us. Personalize them for yourself. So ladies, you all know the schedule, but I am excited to announce that for the month of July, on Mondays at noon, we are adding in a couple of extra decluttering sessions. So if you need more time for focused work, noon on a Monday is when we're going to add another session in. More times are going to be coming. So you can declutter, you can do planning, you can do focused work of whatever kind you need to. I'm going to be working on decluttering. I feel like I need to ramp that up a bit as I prepare for the next part of my medical journey. So we're going to have an extra session at least 2 times during the month. Yay! I know, right? Isn't that great? And it's at a time that's friendly for East and West Coast. So hopefully people will be able to come and enjoy that session. And then we have one more session left in June. We're going to talk about making organizing fun. So in this journey, I found this really cool app that we're going to talk about that I'm actually going to let Peter play with. So this way he can start to see stacking of rewards. I found 2 cool apps. So we're going to talk about them and we're going to talk about just ways that you can have more fun with this whole process, right? Because if it's not fun, what's the point in doing it? That's my whole take. In July, we're going to talk about summer reset of our space, decluttering your shed or your garage for a lighter season. Then we're going to talk about balancing fun and focus during the summer, right? We want to have fun, but we still need to be a little responsible. How do we make that happen? Week 3, Savvy Mindset, we're going to talk about staying grounded in a season of socializing. This is a season of barbecues and days at the pool and just fun with friends, and it should be amazing. But how do we stay grounded in our positivity and all of the wonderful strides we've made when there might be some toxicity lurking out there in that socializing? So we'll dive into that. And then in week 4, Savvy Abundance, when you're working on that next level you, how do you embody it, right? How do you personify it? We're going to talk about dressing, speaking, and walking in your worth, right? Your very intrinsic worth. So I hope to see you at those classes. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, we all know I'm at Organize to Elevate. And on X, just because of character restrictions, it's at Organize Elevate. And these are all the ways that we can get in touch with each other. But the most important one is the QR code at the bottom, because that is where you can revisit the positivity challenge, the decluttering challenge, and our mindfulness challenge is our next challenge in September. So we're going to take off July and August, enjoy the summer, have some good quality replenishment of your soul with the activities you love. And then we will come back and shift into being more mindful, more concentrated, more thoughtful, and more present on a regular basis with our 30-day mindfulness challenge. And it's all going to take place, yes, in Meetup, but definitely in the Oasis. So we will be hosting all of that, which will be so much fun. I can't wait for our mindfulness challenge. I think it's going to be great. And then after mindfulness, we're doing a deep cleaning challenge. So again, a little woo-woo work and then some very practical stuff, right? Decluttering and then mindfulness. And like we do all the things because all the things stack on each other. They all contribute and they all make each other better. So I'm going to stop our share. I'm going to thank everyone who has joined us on YouTube or is watching. So I have to start to embrace the idea of saying like and subscribe. So if you've liked today's session, if you're watching it live or in a replay, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to be alerted to when we do more of these, hit the subscribe button and you will be a part of the community. So I feel so strange saying that because it's the first time I'm saying it, but like and subscribe, like and subscribe. Okay. Now that I've done that duty, thank you to everyone on YouTube, and I'm going to open it up for